Employees are human. Sometimes that means they may get angry or lash out when they're feeling frustrated, overwhelmed, or powerless, or under a lot of stress. As a manager, you can't ignore an employee who yells or puts others down just because they're having a bad day. However, you also want to recognize and respect that an employee's feelings are real to them and may be a result of actual challenges they're facing at work. So, what's the best way to handle these situations professionally and constructively? Follow these 4 steps. The first step is to listen and empathize with the employee. In this stage, it's important not to argue, criticize, or dispute what the employee is saying. Instead, give them your full attention so that you can listen to and understand their experience. Avoid telling the employee to calm down. Instead, respect and validate their feelings with empathetic statements such as, "I can see why you're frustrated." "I can imagine how difficult that must have been for you." Or, "You're right. No one should feel that way at work." You can even repeat back to the employee their feelings and their account of what happened, and then ask them if you're hearing them correctly. However, note that this step, as well as the steps that follow, only apply to employees who are feeling frustrated or angry, not abusive. Do not tolerate verbally or physically abusive behaviors from employees. Be firm and clear when setting boundaries, or remove yourself from the situation if you feel threatened, and seek the help of human resources. The second step is to gather the facts. You've let the employee air their grievances. Now it's time to redirect and refocus the conversation. Thank the employee for speaking up, even if they didn't handle the frustration in the best way. They've taken a positive step toward a resolution by bringing it to your attention. Then, ask the employee targeted, behavior-based questions to help them evaluate the situation more rationally and less emotionally. For example, you might say, "I don't want you to feel undervalued at work either. I know how talented you are and how much this team depends on you. So I'd love it if you could help me get to the bottom of this. What are some specific examples of behaviors or situations where you felt like your work wasn't appreciated?" Helping the employee to focus their energy on describing behaviors and situations will relieve some of the intensity and remove some of the focus away from their feelings and emotions. Third is to identify solutions. You now have a better understanding of what happened, and the employee should appear a little more composed. It's time to switch gears, start looking forward, and brainstorm what can be done to resolve, improve, or relieve the employee's frustration. You might prompt the employee with questions such as, "What do you think is fair or should happen?" Or, "How do you suggest we move forward?" Or, "What could realistically be done to improve the situation?" You might also give the employee some options and ask what sounds best to them. However, be careful not to make false promises. Be honest if you can't change anything, or if the change has to start with the employee's attitude or approach to a problem. Finally, the last step is to restore order. Summarize key takeaways from the conversation, as well as any action plans to implement moving forward. Also, in a neutral tone of voice, set expectations for the employee's future behavior, and coach them on best practices for communicating and handling workplace conflicts constructively. Just make sure to reiterate that you're happy the employee came to you, and you want to equip the employee for success. Always speak in private when dealing with an angry employee. Also, be aware that you may need to give them some time and space to cool off before constructive conversation can happen. Ultimately, by listening and empathizing with the employee's experience, helping them gather the facts, identifying solutions, and restoring order, you can diffuse most situations and help the employee harness their frustration to fuel positive change.